Hi, Steve and Caleb with Brownells, and today we've got a real treat for you. Caleb is going to show us how to install a recoil pad.
Yeah, Steve, so it's been a minute since I've personally done it, and I haven't seen you do one recently either, so we could probably both use a little practice. But no, this is something that's working in the gunsmith shop, you would do all the time.
Oh yeah, I'm still combing out dust out of my hair.
Yeah, it is a very common job, and it's something a gunsmith could make money at if he's decent enough at it.
Yeah, you get quick at it.
Yeah, once you get fast at it, I mean, it's one of those jobs you can turn out real like quick and easy. Customer's really happy. You gotta make a little money on it. So it's just one of those great jobs. And what we're gonna be using here is my personal favorite recoil pad. Not just to use, but to actually work with whenever I'm grinding. And that's the Pachmayr Decelerators. These things are awesome. They're made really well. They're really durable. They're one of those recoil pads that whenever you actually pick it up and hold it in your hand and compare it to some of the competitors, like the hand test, just like squeezing it, it's not as squishy as some of the other ones. But whenever you're actually shooting, it does a really good job, and I think is the best one.
Right, and this is a vented one. They have solid ones too if you like that style. That looks good on a shotgun, for example.
I think I like to put these on the shotguns, and then the solid ones look better on rifles, and that's just my opinion. You can put whichever on whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the rifle one, the Decelerator, will have a pocket inside that's got an airspace, I should say, to let it collapse a little bit under recoil.
Yeah, so these are what we go for here, and you can get them with or without the white line as well. This is like the deluxe field, I think, if I remember correctly from just now reading it a second ago. So yeah, different styles, different flavors, and let's just kind of jump right into where to start when you're fitting one of these.
All right.
And the first thing is going to be how to select the right one, because these have a metal insert in them. And Steve, wouldn't you believe it if I said I bought 4 recoil pads, cut them up, just to get these out?
No, I wouldn't believe it.
No, it's not true, because we actually sell these templates here.
Yeah.
So if maybe like if you're buying this to tackle this job yourself, these aren't very expensive, but you don't have to buy these, because you can
because this insert diagram here is available on our website. If you're looking at the recoil pads on their webpage, there'll be a place where you can click for this chart, and it'll give you the dimensions, give you especially the screw hole dimensions. That's kind of important because it shows you where the pad's going to be placed.
Yeah. Yep. And but if you got a gunsmith shop, or if you just want to have them in your workshop, these are definitely worth the money.
Yeah. Hang those on the peg and they're always there.
Quick and easy. So what we'll do here, I already sized this one out, so I'm going to cheat, but I'm just going to pull them off of there so I can show the camera a little easier. So you got small, medium, large, and then the extra large. We definitely know it's not going to be that, so I'm just going to show you on these here. So starting with the large, Steve, what we want to do here is just match it up to the back of the stock.
All right.
And as you can see, this would not be a good one to use because
anytime the edges touch, that means you're going to grind through to the metal.
Yep, so you're going to have metal sticking out the side, which is a no-go. And
you either throw the pad away or you cold blue it and live in shame.
Yeah, live in shame is typically what happens here. So this is a medium, and it's really close, man. It's really close. So,
and medium will do what, 80-90% of the jobs out there.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is a Remington 870 stock, so very common.
Yeah.
And here's the small, which I'm liking that one, Steve.
Tilt it a little more.
Yeah, I'll show them, instead of just you, I guess. I forget y'all are here too, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, the insert is going to work, and there's plenty of material around it. The next thing you got to worry about is if you have enough material left at the toe to continue that taper at the bottom.
So we'll just take a pad, match it up against there.
Yeah.
And try and just kind of get the holes close to where they would be.
Right.
And then this is more of just a visual check, but
yeah, you want that angle to continue all the way down so it doesn't, step up and look like an amateur did it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can make it just go straight off the back, but like Steve said,
Right.
it'll look like it's not going to look good.
Yep.
So just make sure you have plenty of room, or not plenty of room, but make sure you can actually grind some stuff down to fit the stock is the next step. And this one passes. So we know this stock is going to take a size small.
Cool.
And if we were very careful, it could also take a medium.
Yeah.
We had to be careful. It was cutting it close. And the pad does come with screws.
They always come with screws.
But one thing they do not come with, and I'm gonna put these in the correct order here, just to, so that whenever you pick this up a week from now, I don't have to hear you cursing across the room. And it's a whole thing.
About this.
About this, yeah. Oh, there'll always be something, but about this. All right, so.
Wow, aren't we organized today?
Just today.
Yeah.
Only when they're watching.
I'll put the destructions back in here.
Perfect. Okay.
What's next?
Well, next we need to make a line, or scribe a line, I should say. Well, actually, first, these pads don't come cut for the
Right.
screws.
Right.
So you have to cut them yourselves. They do have holes in the back. And what I like to do is take a punch. Yeah, and what size is this? 7/32 fits perfectly. I hope. Let's see. Yeah. And if you push it through, you'll see it kind of bulge at the end there.
Right.
And we're going to take a little razor blade here. And carefully, as to not cut ourselves,
Thank you.
we'll just kind of push down. I'll just use the table.
By the way, if you have an X-Acto knife, that works really well too.
Yeah, for sure.
That allows you to plunge that acute angled blade in.
And yeah, don't do this with your pocket knife or a wider blade, because the point is to like not be able to see the cut after you make it.
It's true. You can spread it out to put the screw in. You lubricate the screw so it doesn't tear it. And then once you got the screw in there, it seals itself up again. It's almost invisible.
This thing's giving me heck here, Steve. I need something to prevent this thing from sliding. I'm scared I'm gonna cut myself.
I'm scared you're going to cut yourself. You don't see me jumping in with my hand.
No. There it is. Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay, and you can't even.
Now spread it and show them. Yeah, see?
Yeah, there you
So you
go.
can get the head of the screw through there. Especially if you got a little lubrication on it. Like I said, you don't want to tear it because you can tear a chunk of that neoprene out. I'm pretty sure those are still made out of neoprene.
I believe you.
It's an excellent pad material. It stands up for hard use. It doesn't collapse when you stand it in the rack for years.
Yeah, you can get all kind of gun oil and stuff on it, and it won't get all sticky and
Yeah.
gummy. There were some recoil pads. There are still some recoil pads that if you leave them in a gun safe, and they have any kind of oil or whatever on them, they'll melt. And another thing that did it, Steve. So mosquito spray.
Mosquito spray. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that DEET and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a problem we ran into in the South with those duck hunters and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They would get it on
Yeah.
their recoil pads and it would just turn gummy. Not only that, but they on some of those hydro dip camo guns, they had like a clear coat, and it would also turn that into like jelly.
Yeah.
It was gross.
As far as lubes go, if it's petroleum based, it'll attack any of those synthetic pads. If you use something like brake free or Rem oil, that doesn't seem to bother them.
Yeah, those are, can't go wrong with those.
Okay.
All right. I'm just gonna.
All right. Just enough for the screw to pass through.
Yeah.
I notice your stock is pre-drilled. For
Yes.
This particular pattern.
It is. So this is the stock. In a previous video, we did a stock repair on because the holes were wrecked. So check that video out if you want to see how we repaired that. Okay. Now we got to push the screws in.
Right. Easy does it.
Yeah.
I used to have a dedicated real thin Stanley screwdriver for this job. But there's also a magnetip bit made for it.
I have one, Steve.
Yeah, I thought you might.
I promise.
And don't forget to put a little lube on the tip.
I have oil on my fingers, so I can't get it out of the can't get it out of the hair. There you go.
A typical day at the gun shop.
All right. So this is the bit specifically for recoil pad stuff because it's round and it's nice and smooth.
And it'll reach through a 1 inch or a 1 1/10 inch pad.
That's another important part I was forgetting. Yes.
Yeah. And you might want to just turn that
Give it
just
a little. Here we
There you
go.
go.
Pop it through there. And other than the oil, you can't even tell the screw was over there.
Yep. Yep, it's the fresh pads are really flexible, so you don't have a lot of problem with this at all.
Perfect. Okay. I'm going to put this razor blade up because we don't need it
Thank
anymore. And accident waiting to happen with me around here. I might lose a sideburn or something. Who knows?
Ooh.
That'd be the worst case scenario.
You would be an asymmetrical person.
Oh, more asymmetrical.
Okay.
All right, now we just tighten this down.
Here comes the exciting part. We're going to turn in the screws.
I brought a rag today.
Excellent.
And I'm going to get one side close-ish, and then I'm going to come back to the other one here.
Yep, kind of ratchet them down.
The actual base of this pad is a hard polymer. And if you tighten one side down and get it flake, you can break it.
Yep, I've seen them cracked.
And it'll still work, but again, we go back to that amateur job situation.
And this is one of those jobs that it doesn't take a whole lot of extra effort to make it really look good.
Yeah.
Practice helps, though. But if you just got one pad to do, you can handle this job. And we're going to cheat. We're going to use a power sander. But I have seen them done by hand.
I have never done one by hand, nor would I dream of it.
It would take a long time.
So if you're a gunsmith shop, that is not how to make money.
Right.
You gotta be fast and efficient.
And once you set up and you have the jig all set up where you want it, it's pretty easy. That and cleaning guns, and, you know, it's a bread and butter job.
Yep.
All right, double check. Is that angle at the toe still good?
Yeah, we'll be good there.
Yeah, we don't have a lot extra.
Not a lot, but it'll be.
It's going to come out right at the
Let me
right at the point there, I think. I mean, it's that close.
take something straight here and just kind of. Oh yeah, it'll go right to the tip.
Yep. Should work out perfect. So you got it on there. Now
Yeah,
what-
and
what-
it's
now
a
what do you
it's
do?
a little off one side. I'm just gonna
Okay.
loosen it and kind of make sure. I'm gonna loosen it and kind of push it to center.
The holes in the insert are quite a bit bigger than the screw diameter, so you can move that pad around. But make sure once you get it where you want it, you tighten it so it doesn't shift when you're marking it out, or you're going to be very disappointed when you finish grinding.
Yeah, and that'll be good enough because I can once we grind it, I can push it back to this exact spot again. That's no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we need something sharp,
Okay,
like a scribe,
a sharp scribe.
and we are just gonna dig in and trace this thing all the way around.
You're going to dig into the stock?
Yeah, we're gonna go. No, I'm kidding. We're not gonna go into the stock. We're gonna go into this this
Right.
polymer piece on the bottom here.
And if you hold the scribe at the right angle, those smooth sides will do nothing to your stock except follow the contours. Now for you woodworkers, this is a little bit like marking out dovetails, except you'd use a knife for that. But it is the same principle where you go to the line if you want a good fit. My dovetails sometimes have a little gap in them. Look at this guy concentrate. This is wonderful.
Yeah. And if you have a new unfinished stock or you're refinishing a stock, you can get that recoil pad really close because
Yeah.
you can sand them together.
Yep. That's the best when you're working with a raw stock. Just sand them both together. Same thing with handgun grips. If you got a steel frame, you can mount the grips to it and sand right to the metal if you have the facilities to reblue it. Or if it's a stainless gun.
All right, Steve. Now we can take the pad off.
Right, see what we got? Yeah, in a real shop, he'd have been about done by now.
Yeah, we're slowing this way down.
Yeah. Because you'd have a whole batch of them lined up to do that day. You just save them all for one day because you're going to get dirty.
Yeah, I had a little electric screwdriver just for recoil pads.
Yeah. And you want an apron for this job when you get to the power sander.
Oh, we will.
And a head cover and some eye protection. Because that powder gets everywhere. And if you don't want to get your hanky all full of soot when you blow your nose, you might want to wear a mask of some kind. Otherwise, you're going to look like you've been mining coal all day.
Got the black lung. The black lung, Pa.
All right.
Zoolander. No?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, we got to get these screws back out because our fixture, whichever fixture we decide to use here, is going to have screws. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll see shortly.
Yeah, we'll show you. Nice and easy. Now you don't want to put the screws in and out any more than you actually have to.
Yeah, this should be the only time these things go in and out.
Yeah. Well, they'll go in one more time.
Yeah. All right, so now we have a scribed line on the back.
Right.
And to make that line easier to see,
Oh, please do.
we'll use some chalk.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about this earlier, Steve. You also mentioned before you scribe it, you can paint it.
Yep, just hit it with some white enamel, quick drying enamel, and then put it on the stock and then scribe it. That way you're looking at a black line on a white background. This way we'll have a white line on a black background. Either one works. But the can of paint was always easier to find than a piece of chalk for me.
Yeah, we even had to look for this chalk, Steve. There's no telling where I put stuff in this place, you know?
Oh man, that line sticks out nicely.
Yeah. And then now we can just wipe off the excess.
Cool.
And take out a little bit of the chalk.
Oh,
Yeah. I'll go.
it looks so good.
I know. I'll put some more on there.
Thank you.
This time I won't wipe it so aggressively.
Actually, if you just had something flat you could scrape it with, that would probably work great.
Like a razor blade?
No.
Oh, my finger did
A
okay.
finger works okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finger does better than a rag for this.
And you're going to get dirty anyway, so you might as well start now.
Might as well start now. Okay, there
So
you go.
that's our grind 2 line. And that line is larger than the stock, so you actually grind to the line.
Yep.
Halfway through it if you're really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, Steve. We'll see how confident I feel once I get back in the flow.
If the line totally disappears when you're grinding, you might be over the line, as they say.
Cross the line.
Cross the line.
Yeah. Okay, so now we need to decide what fixture we're gonna use.
Right, and there are multiple options.
There are. So this one is the Graco. And this one's actually a little different because if I remember correctly, you actually run it upside down like this.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you kind of have to, but
Yeah.
there are some. Which one was it? I think it was. I can't remember the name of it, but I used to have one that you did the other way, and you used to have to kind of. I don't know. It was terrible. But anywho, this is the Graco one. You put it on upside down like so, and you adjust this for the angle of your stock.
Right.
So that you just run it flat on your sanding table, and then you will literally, because it'll be at an angle like this.
Yeah.
And then you literally just go to the line.
Yeah, now normally the heel there will be a 90-degree angle or very close to it, but the bottom has to taper to match the bottom of your stock.
Yep. And then we also have another one, Steve.
Yeah.
This guy right here.
Right, that's the one I've always worked with.
Yeah. So this is the Brownells one, and the way this works, and we'll show you in a bit here. You'll get to see a little bit of it, but it hangs on a fixture that is on your
Disc sander.
your disc sander, and then it would sit like so, and you would take it and use it as it kind of hangs.
Right.
I've actually, so this will be the first time I use this one. I've actually never used this one. I've always used these style here.
This one has an advantage because it's suspended but from that little pole, that little street lamp pole on the sander. You can adjust the distance this jig swings away from the disc sander, and that means you can taper the sides, because you can't taper the sides with this one. But you can taper the sides, so if you've got a stock that's got a lot of taper to the back, you can match that taper and make it look like it grew out of there.
That's pretty cool.
But if you just do it straight, it still looks okay. As long as you match up the wood to the rubber, it looks fine.
Okay, yeah. Cool. So, Steve, we need to adjust the angle
That's right.
on this thing. So do you put the pad on there first?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You put the pad on first, and then you put them both together on the stock. Do you have a bit that's going to fit that?
I should have something.
That's what I was thinking. Too many bits to choose from.
No such thing.
All right.
That should be okay.
Yeah, it'll reach.
Put some more oil.
Yeah, it doesn't
here.
hurt. With new screws, you put some more oil on there. And like I said, use a non-petroleum based oil for this. Use like Break Free or Rem oil or something like that, because it won't attack the neoprene. Fun fact, if I get an old pair of Pachmayr grips, I rub them down with Break Free to make them look black again, make them look nice and new. I'm not sure Pachmayr recommends it, but I do it. Once you turn them black, you wipe it down and make sure it's dry again so you have friction there, obviously. Nobody wants an oily gun grip. Okay. Is that thing on there?
We made it over there. Okay. Perfect.
All right. So all you do, I always do the top first. So you line up the top bar with the top of the stock, and I'll show you in a second. You just make sure they're parallel or very close to it and tighten this up. So when you have the pad against, I don't know how, when you have the pad against the back, this bar and the top of this stock should be very close to parallel. Then you grind the top. Now you take the stock with you to the sander because you got to change it for the bottom. To do that, you loosen it up again and you come down here and you adjust this until it runs parallel with the bottom of the stock when the pad is up against it. So I don't know how this is showing up, but and you just got to get close. It doesn't have to be the exact angle. If you're off 2 or 3 degrees, nobody will ever know.
Okay, so you do the top half, readjust, do the bottom half.
Yep. You can do either one first as long as you have it adjusted to that angle.
Cool. Okay. Sounds easy enough.
I guess we need to get to the sander.
We do, and real quick before we do that, I just want to talk about pros and cons between using these two. The biggest one is going to be for this one, you got to put a hole in your disc sander table.
Right.
You got to drill a hole in it to attach this fixture. This one you can use on anyone.
That's right.
So,
yep.
that's the big differences there.
And you can use this on like a belt sander if you got a little table on it too.
You can. Yep.
So
there's that. And also, what was I going to say here? Oh, you can if you're good enough, or if you get good enough at this. So we used to have one of those big Grizzly knife maker sanders.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And we would literally just take some tape, put it around the recoil pad. We would do 2 layers of this stuff and then grind that sucker by hand. And when it's just started touching that first layer of tape, you pull that first layer off and then you finish by hand to get to the next one. That's a very risky way to do it.
You got to be in the zone.
You got to be, listen, you got to be in the zone. You got to have, whatever music makes you happy. I don't know.
Yep, and you got to have nobody distracting you.
0 distractions.
Because you can't be, looking the other way.
Yeah, and there goes that Turkish walnut.
Yeah, and it's a refinish job after that.
So yeah, that's another very risky way to do it. So yeah, like Steve said, let's hit the sander.
All right, we're back, and Caleb successfully grinded or has ground the recoil pad to size, and he did a very good job actually.
Thank you, Steve. Well, yeah, so that's fresh off the grinder. All I did was literally just pull it off the fixture here and then throw it back on the gun.
And it's very, very close. I mean, some shops would just send it out the door like this.
Yeah, it is very close. So there are a few areas where I would like to remove a little more, but we're going to do that by hand. And I will also say the disc we were using was a very aggressive disc.
It was a 36 grit disc.
If this is your first time doing it, do not use one that aggressive.
But on the other hand, don't use one that's too fine because the heat buildup is tremendous.
Yes.
You will tear chunks out of your pad if it gets too hot.
Yep.
So somewhere around 100, 120 maybe is the optimum, you think?
Yeah.
I think I used to use an 80 or a 75 in the shop. I can't remember.
I don't even remember what I used, but yeah, the more aggressive ones are great once you're good at it and you want to go fast, but it's easy to slip up.
Right. And if you've never ground a pad before, don't push too hard. Let the disc do the cutting. If you push too hard, it'll cut the hard surface next to the wood there, but this rubber will spring back and you'll have that exploding effect, where it explodes out, like over my belt line. Same thing.
Yeah, okay. That was an excellent analogy there. So now, and if you can't see it, I don't know if you can really see it on camera, the overhang, but if you take your fingernail, you can feel it.
Right.
And so, to do that...
It's a good sign that you have to look close to even see it.
Yeah. So, we're just going to take some tape here, Steve.
Yeah, we're going to do this the right way.
And...
Give you room to work.
Going to get it as close as possible.
Mm-hmm.
and just wrap it around.
Nice bright colored tape is the canary in the coal mine. Once your sanding paper hits that, you're close enough. Or do you go halfway through the tape?
No,
Are you that good?
No, I'm not.
You know there's some guys in the big shops that could do that.
So the really good thing I found when I was using the chalk was that whenever I hit that line that the chalk was in, it ripped the chalk out, so I knew I was there. So that was actually
Nice
really,
tip.
really convenient, yeah.
Right. So blackboard chalk, sidewalk chalk, anything that's a bright color would work.
Yeah, you could probably put cocaine in there if you wanted to. I don't know. I've never done it.
Oh,
but
how about whiteout?
whiteout would
Put some
probably
whiteout in there and then
that'd probably be okay, Steve. All right. Well, for this we have some 220 grit sandpaper and something to back it with, a hard backer. And just pull it around there tight and hold it. And find your high spots. And coming at it from this direction, we will sand those high spots.
right. And then at the end, go all the way around to make the lines, the sanding lines match.
Yeah, we got to blend it.
Yeah. Now, speaking of sanding, when you take a recoil pad out of the pack, you should inspect the base to make sure it's flat.
Yeah.
If it's not, you push it against your disc sander, or you get a piece of coarse sandpaper on a flat surface and go back and forth till it is flat. So that way when you screw it up on that stock, there are no gaps. Yep, another tip, the softer pads even require less pressure on your disc. So if you're grinding a kick keys or one of the limb savers grind to fits, be very gentle how you push those against the disc, because they will catch and tear out a little chunk here and there sometimes.
Yeah, and the process for doing those is very similar. They just don't have that metal insert in them.
Right, right. So you can grind to your heart's content. You know, you can take a large and put it on a small stock. And there's been a couple times when I had to use one of those pads because the stock was too small to take anything else. These metal inserts here were too big. So it's a nice fallback position to have one of those soft gummy pads. So you look like you're about done there.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty close here, Steve.
Oh, what do you got there? What are you
So
doing?
if you look on this side, you can see how it kind of just frayed a bit, and it's a really
Right.
sharp edge right there.
Right.
I'm just taking that off very lightly.
This is a finesse job here.
It is, yeah.
Wow. I can't say as I always remember to do that.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's not really necessary. It's one of those things that like wears down really quickly when
Yeah.
you're using it, so
Yeah.
you don't even really notice. But
After a hunt or two, you'll never know it was there.
yeah. But I'm just removing that frayed edge. That's it. And then we're pretty much done here.
Yeah, so how long do you think we got invested in this pad, start to finish?
Oh man, less than an hour?
Oh, less than an hour,
Much
yeah.
less than an hour?
I mean, half of that was finding the tools and sandpaper and
Yeah.
all our stuff. The actual physical activity doesn't amount to much.
Yeah, the actual, like, once I hit the grinder, the grinding was like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, that's another thing. When you're tearing off the tape again, some finishes are delicate.
Oh, yeah.
If you've got an old, say an old Winchester with that lacquer finish that's kind of starting to bubble up or something, you'll rip it right off there if you use the wrong kind of tape.
Yeah.
So a painter's tape or something like that that has a good grip but not a super fantastic tough grip.
Yeah, so just painter's tape in general, like the regular blue stuff you get at Walmart or the hardware store,
Right.
usually just fine.
Right.
Well, Steve, that's pretty much it. I used this red rag, and now I got red fuzz on it, and I just ruined the
We were so
aesthetics.
close.
Yeah, I know. Let me use the
Yeah,
white
use
rag.
that old greasy oily rag. That'll make it look good.
Let me get that. See if I can get white fuzz on there instead. No, I'm kidding.
That looks good enough to put on a gun.
Man, we should probably do that.
Yeah.
All right, so that's really all there is to it.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. If you got a project ahead of you, we wish you luck. It's not that hard if you have the right equipment. In the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And as always, if you have a question about this or anything else, give us a call on the tech line. They'll be glad to help you out. See you next time.